Hi, Gracie.
Hi, Tom. Hey, we got some more mail.
Addressed to us?
Believe it or not.
More visions?
Nope. One letter was from Jasper's Uncle Stanford, saying how much he likes the show.
Oh, that's nice.
And there was a letter from a woman in Cardston who thinks we should have more Christian content in the show.
Sure, we could put it in our second half hour, right after our interview with Louis Riel.
We got a letter from a guy in Ottawa who sent us a question for Ask Tonto.
No kidding.
And we got a letter from CBC.
CBC? The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation?
That's right.
Well, what they want?
Jasper has all the details. He's waiting for you.
Nothing weird, I hope. Hi, Jasper.
Hi, Tom. You're just in time.
Jasper?
Yes?
Jasper?
Yes?
Jasper, why are you wearing a suit?
We got mail.
We got mail last time. You didn't wear a suit.
We got mail from CBC.
And that's why you're wearing a suit?
How do you like the tie?
Well, the tie's fine.
Did you notice that my socks match my tie?
Jasper, you look great. It's just that, I've never seen you in a suit before.
That's what Gracie said.
So? What about the letter?
Stanford said he really likes the show.
Not that letter, Jasper. The one from CBC.
Oh, that. They canceled the show.
What?
Here. Dear Mr. Friendly Bear et al. After a great deal of thought, we've decided not to renew the contract for the Dead Dog Cafe Comedy Hour. It's been a pleasure working with you, and we wish you every success in the future. You know, that really confused me.
What confused you?
Et al. At first I thought maybe it was just a mistake. You know, a typing error.
Jasper.
But then I figured it was one of those anagram things. You know, where you scramble up the letters to get the answer.
Jasper.
But all I can get is late and teal and tail. So it couldn't be that.
Jasper.
Then I got it. It's French.
Actually, it's Latin.
My French is a little rusty. So I called Jimmy Gray Squirrel, who used to coach Pee Wee hockey in Montreal. And he said it probably was an abbreviation for Et tu as lumière.
Et tu... and you have light? Jasper, this doesn't make any sense at all.
Exactly. It's CBC's way of telling us that we have to be more serious with our material.
Jasper, et al. Just means and the rest or everyone else. They use it in business all the time.
So guess what I did?
You bought a suit and tie?
Why would I do that?
To show CBC that we're serious?
No. I borrowed the suit from Gracie's brother, Leroy.
Jasper, CBC just canceled the show. Why'd you borrow a suit from Leroy?
For my new idea.
What new idea?
When CBC hears Indians Anonymous and they see that we can be serious and helpful, they'll forget about canceling the show.
You ready for some coffee yet?
Please. Yeah, I know. $1.50.
Has he told you about Indians Anonymous?
Not yet.
Then you'll want a large cup.
Here, I've worked up a script. Here's a copy for you and one for you. Okay, let's give it a try.
Act 1, Scene 1.
Don't worry about that. Just go right to the dialogue.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tom, and I'm an Indian?
It's not a question, Tom. Do you see a question mark?
No, I guess there's no question.
Try it again.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tom, and I'm an Indian.
Hi, Tom.
I've been an Indian for 53 years.
Oh, what a shame.
But for the last 5 years, I've really been white.
Way to go.
Hooray,
good for you.
Jasper.
Yes?
Jasper.
What?
Jasper, we've had some really dumb stuff on this show, but this one takes the cake.
I told you he'd like it.
Ready for more coffee?
Jasper, this sounds depressingly like one of those 12-step self-help programs.
Exactly, Tom. Do you know what the most vexing problem the government of Canada currently faces?
The deficit?
No, the deficit's not really a problem. Rich people just want it to go down so their investments will be worth more.
Crime?
Smokescreen, Tom. It just allows the government to bring in more conservative measures without a huge public outcry.
Well, it's not free trade.
No such thing.
Give up before your coffee goes cold.
I give up.
Indians, Tom. Canada's biggest problem is Indians.
Isn't it time to start the show?
Think about it, Tom. You have two kinds of Indians, right?
Whatever you say, Jasper.
You have Indians who live on reserves and in rural areas and in the bush who want to keep being Indians.
I make the coffee extra strong.
And you have Indians who have moved into the cities and who want to be white.
Like you, Tom.
Wait a minute.
And this is where Indians Anonymous can help.
Help me, Gracie.
No can do.
All these years, the government has focused their attention on the Indians who still want to be Indians, and what they didn't notice was that many of the Indians who had become white were turning back into Indians. They were reverting, falling off the wagon.
And we're going to help.
Exactly. Indians Anonymous is for those Indians who are now white but who are currently leaning towards being Indians again.
You know, being canceled by CBC may prove to be a blessing.
Let's say you're a modern Indian with a good job at a major bank. One day you wake up and discover you have an intense craving for fry bread. Or you spend your lunch hours telling your colleagues old stories your grandmother told you. Or worse yet, you actually consider running for band council.
So you call Indians Anonymous?
The Indian Self-Help Program.
To keep Indians from reverting and becoming Indians again.
I don't think the CBC will be able to resist this one, do you?
Oh, listen to that. We're all out of time.
Nice try.
Hey, the show's starting. Okay, Tom, take it away.
From Blossom, Alberta, it's the Dead Dog Cafe Comedy Hour with your hosts, Jasper Friendly Bear.
And Gracie Heavy Hand.
And Tom King.
So, Tom, tell our listeners who our guests are.
Sure, Jasper. For the first half hour, we'll be talking with, Alex Janvier. And in our second half hour, we'll be chatting with Louis Real.
Hey, you finally dug him up.
In a manner of speaking.
You actually know who our guests are?
Nope. But it's our last show, so what the heck?
What if this scheme works and CBC decides to renew our contract?
You don't think that could happen, do you?
CBC? They're goofier than Jasper.
Hey, Gracie. It sounds like it's time for another one of your reserve recipes. What do you have for us today?
Well, since this is our last show, I thought I'd whip up a little pâté du reserve.
Pâté du reserve? Well, that actually sounds good.
Meatloaf, Tom.
Oh, well, I like meatloaf.
You can have my slice, Tom.
You never turn down food, Jasper. What's wrong with the pâté du reserve?
Nothing. I'm just a little full.
So which one of you mighty hunters wants to do the honors?
Tom.
Tom what?
Rifles in the truck. Try not to shoot any of the livestock.
What are you talking about?
They don't call it meatloaf for nothing, you know.
And don't come back with an old, stringy thing.
Stringy old what?
Bear, Tom.
Bear? You want me to shoot a bear?
Not me, Tom. Gracie. Gracie wants you to shoot a bear. It's a secret ingredient in her meatloaf.
I'm not going to shoot a bear. Gracie, don't you have some traditional vegetarian recipes?
Calm down. We're just kidding.
The secret ingredient isn't bear?
It's ketchup.
Big mouth.
Hey, look. There's Alex Janvier. It must be time for What Else Do You Do? Where we interview celebrities and find out what else they do when they're not being famous.
Jasper, I was just joking about Alex Janvier. I have no idea who our guests are. Is that Alex Janvier?
Way to go, Tom.
Oh, okay. So, Alex, what else do you do?
I'm trying to become a Canadian, and that's a hard job. We play hockey, and with some of the old-timers from the town of Grand Center and Cold Lake, and we carry on pretending that we were going to be called up to the NHL one of these days.
So you haven't got any phone calls yet, huh?
Well, we're still holding out for better pay.
Do you have an agent?
We have Indian agents, but they're not too good at negotiating.
So now, where are you living these days?
I'm living out in the bush by a Cold Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got out of the city?
Yeah, I lived in the city. I was one of these quasi-urban Indian at that time, you know. And I couldn't cash my check, and that's where I decided to do away with this non-functional Indian image, you know.
Just become an Indian, just a regular Indian.
Now you're Indian from the heart, right, Alex? It's no longer with the braids and the outer part was Indian, but not in the heart?
Yeah, sometimes I go to the heart. It's It's a long path, a long distance, 17 inches from the top of your head to the heart, you know.
Yeah.
It's the longest distance on Earth, even for Indians, you know.
Yeah.
So, Alex, I'd like to ask you, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is probably, it used to be blue, you know, but it's changed. It's now red. And I think red is really, you know, in the Indian way, it's the color of the blood. So it's life, and it's also the same color as the animals, you know. And it's just the way we still have down deep in our philosophies our innate kinship with our surroundings, which is also including the animals. And so there's a little bit of philosophy now flowing to my life, you know. I can't guarantee you they're foolproof, but I know it's been backed up by a lot of legends and stuff like that from way back, and now it's proving that what these old people have said way a long time ago is real. You know, it's actually applicable, applying today, you know.
So you got any new interesting plans that our listeners would like to know about?
Well, the Sistine Chapel has been painted, so I ain't going to pursue that.
Well, you know, Alex, thank you for coming on our show here.
It was nice meeting you, Alex, and I hope to meet you again soon.
You know what I'm going to miss the most about this show?
The big paychecks?
Right, as if we get paid anything for doing this.
I'm going to miss the guests. We've had some great guests, haven't we?
We don't get paid for doing this, do we?
Louis Real was my favorite. How about you?
Jasper? Gracie?
Hard to say. They were all great. What about you, Tom? Who was your favorite?
Look, I just need to get this straightened out about the pay.
Oh, we almost forgot about Blackout Bingo. That would have been embarrassing if we had forgotten to call a number on our last show.
Yeah, forget the number. Let's talk about...
B8.
Of course it's B8. It's always B8. Look, let's get back to this pay question.
Hey, Tom, you have any last-minute traditional Aboriginal decorating tips for our listeners?
No. Has CBC been paying us?
Don't forget the letter from Ottawa Bob.
That's right. We'll have to talk later, Tom. Right now it's time for Trustfuntom, where our listeners can write in with their questions about Canadian culture.
Because you can't expect to get unbiased answers about Canadian culture from a white guy who runs around in a black mask, shooting at people with silver bullets.
And don't forget, Tom, the Lone Ranger is an American.
Whereas Tonto is from 6 nations.
So while the Lone Ranger has been riding around all these years making the world safe for democracy and multinational corporations, what do you suppose Tonto has been doing?
CBC, Jasper. What about CBC?
Wrong answer, Tom. Why don't you read a question from one of our listeners?
Here it is, Tom.
Okay, but look, we're going to talk later, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. Dear Tonto, don't all you Indians get tired of continually complaining about the way you're treated by whites? Don't you realize that we beat you fair and square? Hasn't it sunk into your thick skulls yet that treaty rights are a big joke? Isn't it time to stop whining and face the truth?
Who's it from?
Well, there's no name.
Return address on the envelope?
Nope.
Well, thanks for the letter, whoever you are. We always enjoy hearing from our listeners. I could do a little more research on the subject, but I think the answers to your questions are no, 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 and no. I hope that helps. And write us again when you have the time. Well, that's the end of the show. I'm going to miss all this glamour and excitement. What about you, Gracie?
You've been sleeping too close to the radiator.
About that little matter of pay.
And so, this is Jasper Friendly Bear.
And Gracie Heavy Hand.
Jasper. Saying, so long for now. And don't forget, stay calm, be brave, and wait for the signs. That was great. How about some coffee, Gracie?
What about the CBC money?
Most of it went for the coffee.
I paid for the coffee.
Then there was my suit.
Oh, you said you borrowed the suit.
Did I mention the coffee?
Yeah, I paid for the coffee. Now, what about the money for CBC?
Did I mention